Okay, well, hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening. It's Liam Hartree here today, back with you with another episode of the Simply Inspired podcast. And today I'm very honored and very blessed to have a very special guest on the show. Today's guest, Karl Egloff. Hopefully, I'm saying that the right way. The trickiest part of being an interviewer is the names, but this man has some incredible achievements to his name. He is a mountaineer, a mountain guide, a former mountain cyclist as well. He has some incredible records to his name with regards to speed ascents of some of the highest mountains in the world, broken various records in that area as well with some incredible timings. There's a little bit of competition with Mr. Kilian Jornet, or maybe it's not competition, but we'll find out later. Karl has broken several of his records as well. So we have a lot to talk about today with Karl's life, past, present, and future. Also, ex-army as well, I believe, need to throw that in there. So that's also important. So, but as always, we'll be going deeper than just sports. We'll be talking about sports, we'll be talking about the summits and these incredible achievements with the seven summits, but we'll be going deeper into the mindset that it takes to reach such a high level, literally and metaphorically, in one of the toughest sports in the world, mountaineering, and how anything is possible. You really can achieve your dreams with hard work and dedication and belief, these type of topics. So stay tuned, everybody. And Karl, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to make this happen. Basically, I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you so much for the invitation, and thank you also for the amazing introduction you just gave me. I don't know what else I should say or add. You just said it all. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm glad to have this opportunity so people can know me. And yeah, nice to have had so many yeah, different sports and chapters in my life. And yeah, can't wait to talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, I think that you've lived several lives, rolled up into one, I think, and obviously there's more to go as well, which we'll touch on soon. But as I said to you just now before we started recording, I'm just going to go back in time for a moment and talk a little bit about your upbringing, because I think it's very interesting that mountaineering and everything is actually in your blood, I suppose you could say, because your family was doing it, but it's certainly part of your upbringing and everything. So let's go back in time and just if you could share with us a little bit about where you grew up, a little bit about what it was like, and particularly those early days of climbing mountains and everything involved with that, please.
Yes, for sure, Liam. Well, I was born in Ecuador. I have a Swiss father, and I had an Ecuadorian mom. We grew up in altitude. Actually, the capital of Ecuador, where I was born, is almost at 3,000 meters altitude, which is pretty high. And my father, he used to guide, not professionally, but in the season, he was almost 3 months back to back guiding. Many groups from all over the world, but especially German-speaking groups, Swiss German-speaking groups. So he was taking me out there actually in a very short age. I don't even remember how old I was when I was already joining him to the mountains. I've seen pictures when I don't even remember my age, which was beautiful. And on the same time, it's tricky. Sometimes you don't want to force your kids too early. I'm a father right now, but those days I was really thankful to my father that he introduced me mountaineering, and he introduced me the mountains and guiding and the cultures from all over the world. And every weekend besides school, I was joining his expeditions, going with him to the highlands. And as I was growing, he was taking me higher and tougher expeditions. So of course, in very early age, I was just entering my teenies. I was already asking my dad that I wanted one day to become an international mountain guide. This was kind of my dream. And this is how life teach me very early to climb mountains and have this respect to the mountains. And always, of course, very involved in sports. I was always playing soccer and using my bicycle and here and there, but always very involved there. I lost my mom when I was 15 years old, and that changed a bit my destiny because school in Ecuador is very expensive. So My father sent us three kids to Switzerland as school is for free there, and we had a Swiss passport. So I started a new chapter of life, being not even 16, and looking what I wanted to become one day. And of course, sports is always a kind of a luxury. Sometimes you need to do other things to have the time and the money to do sports. So those 3 4 years I was living in Switzerland, they were finding myself again, working 3 4 different jobs to pay the rent and just try to have a kind of a stable life again. And as soon as I had that, I studied, I graduated, but I was always involved in sports. I used my bike from here to there. I was using every 3 minutes to play soccer. I was joining different teams in Switzerland, playing soccer almost 6 days a week and everything. So I came back to Ecuador later after 8 years in Switzerland, after joining the army, after studying, after working. And when I came back to Ecuador is where Karl, the athlete, begins kind of my chapter as a mountain biker, as a professional mountain biker. And also I did all my courses as an international mountain guide. I also opened a business as a travel agent, and this is what I'm doing for a living today. I organize expeditions worldwide. So this was all on the mid 30s, early 30s that I started to switch from biking to speed climbing, and this is where I am today. I of course quit biking, but I was always very involved in mountaineering my entire life. Even when I was living in Switzerland, I was coming back to Ecuador every year to help my father out with groups, with guiding, and I was always very involved with mountaineering. I wanted always to become an international mountain guide. So today I'm a father of two kids. I have missed my travel company. I organize expeditions worldwide. I'm also a motivational speaker, and I do professionally sports. But today, of course, with 42, you are not just fully focused on sport. You do other things too, and of course, I prepare my projects. I prepare my speed records and ascents, and do other things on the same time. So balance on with 40 is very important, with family, with business, with money, with everything. And I can say I've lived many different lives and chapters, but I'm really happy, and I think everything brought me to the place I am today. So the focus on mountain biking, and also as the moment that I was struggling when I was in the late teenies to become determined and everything that I'm today.
Wow, what a story. I mean, it's exceptional, as you've already said, and as I've said, many lives in one contained there. But the amount of things you've achieved in quite a short time, really, when you look at it on paper, not only with mountains, but with these other things, with the biking and the army and everything. I think speed is something that you have maybe in many life areas. Now, one of the things I'd like to touch on there before we go full speed into the mountains and talking about that is obviously keeping this dream of being a mountain guide and a mountaineer alive for those years when it wasn't as accessible to you, you know, because I know you said you're going back to Ecuador, so you still were keeping your hand in with that. But with doing these other things, with biking, with being in the army, with, I believe you tried to take the soccer a little bit further and we're sort of pushing that along as well. So with these other things, I think it's very relevant for people who have a dream, who have a goal like that, but they have distractions, they have other responsibilities. And not that these are all negative distractions because they're other things you love. Obviously, I know that, but you are still keeping that fire inside of you to be a mountaineer. So I'm curious to just dig a little bit deeper into that process of how you kept that going during the years when maybe it didn't seem as possible. You weren't sure how you were going to do it exactly, you know, through these different changes, all of that type of thing, if that makes sense, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a great question. It's a deep question because, of course, what is sport for me? For me, was sport always a lifestyle. It was always this part of Carl to be free, to be out there, to think about everything in life. When I was struggling every single sport moment out there with a bike or playing football or whatever I was doing involved in sweating and having this exercise. I was always feeling free and happy and smiling and forgetting all everything. So I was always looking into sport like my therapy, like someone who is helping me out, and I always saw it as a lifestyle, even in those days when you are injured and you cannot train properly. You always think how many days I can't train. It's kind of a drug. Of course it becomes a drug and you need it, and you don't think if I have to stop with something, that if you can start something else that will give you the same feeling and everything. So it's always like that. But of course, to answer your question, there is always this big dream to become an international athlete. It doesn't matter if it's a mountaineer or a mountain biker or a football player. On the end, what you're looking for when you are early 20s is just to be happy and have a stable life and achieve certain goals that you have. But of course, plan can change, things can change. And for me, it was always very clear, whatever I'm going to practice, I want to bring it so far to be my best version. So as soon as I was biking, I always said, a car, it's not just a sport. You have to compete. You have to become the very best one in Ecuador and then represent in world championships and just go a step further than everyone has ever done in Ecuador. And this is what I did actually without being a cyclist from very beginning, from very early. I was always very focused on sport. As soon as I quit with biking, because I couldn't live from biking, the sponsorships were not enough to make a living of it. I said, okay, Karl, you are in your comfort zone. You have been 7, 8 years unbeatable here in Ecuador. You have won everything, but this is not enough to make the step as a professional athlete. You are not having any pro contract. So I had to really hang my bikes
Hold
and
on. Sorry, Carl. Sorry to cut in. I lost you for a moment there.
no
You
worries.
actually dropped from the Zoom. Yeah, so don't worry. I'll cut that and what before I release it. But please carry on from you were saying no one in Ecuador has done this, and it was around that point that it just froze for a moment.
Absolutely. Well, when I came back to Ecuador, I was focusing on mountain biking because it was a really an opportunity that I got to compete in a mountain bike race. And then, of course, I really focused on it because I saw an opportunity here, and I was really focused, 30, 40 hours training a week, and then bringing it so far that I was the first Ecuadorian to represent Ecuador in a world championship. I was also the first Ecuadorian to be in the top 10, top 100 mountain bikers worldwide. And there was a point where I was 31 years old, and I remember I was watching all these articles and everyone mentioning me, Karl here, Karl there, but I couldn't make a living of it. So you have a completely room full of medals and trophies and everything, but you are not capable of having a health insurance. You are not capable of having even some money to take your wife out. So I remember I decided strictly to quit biking immediately. And everyone said, like, Car, you're winning everything and you are so strong. You're number one in Ecuador. And I said, yeah, of course, but this is nice. But sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone to become someone better in life. It's not enough. I cannot make a living of it. So I won't waste more time. I'm 31. I want kids. I want a stable life. So I definitely quit biking. And when I was quitting biking, I was asking myself, did I do the right decision? Was it right to quit biking? And immediately I asked a company to hire me as a mountain guide and send me worldwide to guide. And then it's where everything started with speed climbing, because in my free time I was running up to the mountains and coming back, and clients, they were like crazy. Like they said, it's impossible that someone is running up to the mountain, coming back and having dinner with us. And I said, yeah, but this was always Karl. Every time I had this free time, I was always or jumping or playing football or doing everything, because this was kind of my lifestyle ever. So this is when everything started, because the company where they were hiring me, they said like, Karl, you should go for Kilimanjaro record. And I said, yeah, but I'm not a runner. And they said, yeah, but train. You have 3 months. We're going to sponsor you. And I definitely came back to Ecuador. I quit biking completely. I was running for the very first time in my life, uh, every day in the mornings, feeling different muscles and everything. But of course, I had all this background as a professional biker. I had this background as a almost professional football player. So I had the fitness, I had the mindset, I had everything, just new muscles to be kind of adapting. And immediately I started competing in trail running, and I started winning all these competitions. And I said, oh, I didn't know that I could run, and it's fun, and it's beautiful. And this is why I said, okay, I'm going for Kilimanjaro record. And the company said, yeah, you know who the guy is who is holding the record? And I said, no idea. And they said like, it's a guy called Kilian Jornet. And I said, I never heard about him. I grew up in Ecuador where everything is football. Football is a religion. There is no other sports besides football in South America. Everyone breathes football. Today, then the national team is playing. Nobody goes to work. It's just crazy. So it's such a magnitude of sport that everything is in the shadow. Everything else is in the shadow. So when I heard Kilian was the record holder, I came back home and I was Googling, and I said like, whoa, like this is a huge athlete, and he is absolutely a legend, and he has been, I don't know how many times world championship, and he's a skier and everything. And this is how I changed. So I had always this up and downs in believing in yourself. I was, as soon as I was there, before the day before running to Kilimanjaro, I was looking into the mirror and I was asking myself like, Karl, this is crazy what you want to do to them tomorrow. This is a professional athlete. He's someone who is doing this full time. He's an amazing team. You're just a mountain guide. How comes that you believe that you can do this? So there are, of course, many doubts. You are asking yourself, yeah, am I possible? Is it possible? And of course, as soon as I started running, the first thing I was thinking about, I was like, this is your shot, Card. This is your lifetime shot. If you break Kilian's record, this is going to be like mind blowing for many people, because he has never been, nobody has ever beaten any record of Kilian. So I gave it all. Of course, it was far away of a perfect run. I had blisters, I had to vomit, I have everything, but I gave it all. I really gave it so much all that as soon as I arrived to the finish gate, I don't remember for a few seconds. I was gone for a few seconds because of the effort. I stopped the watch and it was gone for 10 seconds. And then I woke up and everyone was cheering on me. And I said, like, did I do it? And they said, like, yeah, you were 32 minutes faster than him. And then immediately a new chapter in my life started. I saw an opportunity and I said, like, you need a logotype, you need a website, you need an agent, you need a project, and quit everything else, focus on it. This is your opportunity. And this is when I started as a speed climber, because of course I didn't do it before because I didn't know this sport existed. And probably would have begun much earlier, what I would have wished I started earlier. But I think things happened the way it have to happen, because my former cyclist life helped me to be a better trail runner, I guess.
Now, when it comes to some of your speed climbing, talking about all of them would be amazing, but we won't have time to talk about every single climb. So, what I was thinking we could do is to talk about the ones that you regard to be the most special, because you had this first one. Obviously, you were known for the biking, you were known for these things, but I remember around that you really exploded. You really appeared everywhere, and people were talking about you. After that, you chose to continue, and I was thinking about this. The best way to condense it would be to talk about the ones that are the most special because it's your breakout. It's very special because it's a very brave decision as well to leave the biking and to take the leap, into something new. So after that, you started having success. Of the speed ascents that you've had so far, do you have a favorite one, or are they all equally special to you in different ways, please?
No, definitely there are special ones. I guess the most important one is the last one we did, which is Makalu, the fifth tallest mountain in the world. Um, being Himalaya, being such a tall mountain was a dream since I was a kid. I remember since I was a child looking to these amazing pictures of Himalayas, looking to these amazing pictures of Everest. My father used to hang all these Everest pictures in our home. So I grew up always with that dream one day to be there and to climb there. And of course, it's very expensive to go to Himalaya. So it took us a while to have the opportunity to go there. But definitely, I think the most important one, every single one is important, of course, but that one is very special because of all the 14 world records that we have done so far. Makalu represents this dream, this child's dream, that being there on base camp and looking to this huge mountain and being afraid that how the body is going to react on that altitude, how is the body going to be in the death zone, how is everything going to be in organization, in the body and everything. So I remember Makalu, we were the first humans to make it from base camp to summit and back to base camp without sleeping in any camps in one single push. So it was definitely for me the hardest thing I've ever done, especially when you arrive to the summit and you achieve this ascent record. We weren't that happy because we knew that we needed a lot of energy to go down, and we were so tired, struggling hours and hours up there on the death zone without oxygen, not even having oxygen on our backs, nothing. And we were absolutely alone out there. It's not like Everest that you have a line of people back to base camp. This is sometimes you are absolutely alone out there. And I was afraid for the very first time in my life that I was not able to come back. And I was remember my kids, I was remembering my wife and the things I've done so far. But I always had these flashbacks of what it would be, my kids growing up without a dad. I was seeing my daughter, my son growing up without me, and I had all these flashbacks that kept me alive and kept me struggling and fighting hard. And I remember we passed through Camp 4 on the way down, and we saw three mountaineers. They were coming also back from the summit, and they were also having a very tough time there. So we decided we have to continue immediately. When we went down to Camp 3, there were a lot of people cheering on us, making a beautiful corridor and applauding and patching. It was beautiful that this respect that we became from the mountaineers. And as we were continuing our way down, we were becoming more oxygen to our bodies, and we were feeling better. But on the same time, we were almost 20 hours out there. So sometimes we were sleeping while you were walking, and it was a tough day. And I remember when I we made it down to base camp and we made history there, and everyone was saying like, "Wow, crazy!" I was just so humble and thankful that I'm alive and that I can go back home, and that we just we just make everyone happy. But it was a bit too risky. So I talked to my wife the next day, and I had a swallowed face, and I remember she asked me, "Are you okay?" And I said, like, "Yeah, I've never been better in my life. This is probably the happiest day in my life after having you and my kids and everything. But definitely my athlete life this is the best moment in my life. And I don't want to even see into the mirror because I know that I haven't become handsome at all in the mountain, but I'm just happy to be alive. And of course, this is the cherry on top of our 14 world records. On the end, yeah, 7 summits are important because they are commercial. You're talking about the ones we have beaten Kilian, because Kilian is a legend and I respect him a lot. And then Denali being the first one doing without skis. All the other records have been done with skis. So everyone has something special. But I guess the very first one, Kilimanjaro, was definitely special, and Makalu was definitely special because it's a kid's dream that came true.
What a beautiful story! Absolutely incredible, and it's crazy, with the risks and everything. But more important than that, the meaning behind it, as you say, a kid's dream coming true. What a special achievement. Now, with a couple of these things, I know that you're a very humble person. So, how do you respond to the increasing levels of fame and everything that have come from this? Because it's deeper than just being recognized for your achievements. Um, from everything I've seen, do your best to give back and contribute to people and inspire people. Obviously, we mentioned the motivational speaking. So I'd like to get a little bit deeper into what that means to you and how you feel about being in a role of influence to people, if you like. I don't really like the term influencer because it has a different connotation and different meaning now. But in terms of being a positive example for people, how do you feel about that personally, please?
It's a nice question, Liam, because my kid, he's 7 years old. He asked me the same. We are going into a grocery store. We are going to buy some food, and people ask me if they can make a picture with me, if I can sign them and make them an autogram, or and my son always asks me, Dad, why are they asking you for a picture? Like, why do the people know you and other people are in the same store? They don't care. And I always say to my son, because I do my job good. This is just my job, son. It doesn't make me a better human. It doesn't make me a better father. It doesn't make me a better athlete. I'm just trying to be my best version. And people look at me and believe I do amazing things, but on the same time, other people do amazing things. Even working 2 shifts, 3 shifts, moms do amazing things to grow up their kids. And many other things. So I've always been very humble because I'm just an athlete, and you have sometimes good days and you are lucky and the records are broken, and you have also bad days. And those bad days, nobody is gonna ask you for a picture, or you disappear from the radar pretty fast as an athlete. And also sponsorships and everything. So on the end, this is a business. I always look into sport like I'm blessed that I can do what I do for living. This is my hobby that became truth, but on the same time, it's just a sport. It's not the end of the world if I don't do any records.
I'm going to have fun editing this one, but I promise you I will make it good before the release. I don't know what is going on today
Don't
because I've
worry.
been doing loads of these lately and I haven't
Don't worry,
had this
Liam.
to.
I'm very flexible on it. Don't worry if we have to do it again. Don't worry, really. Don't worry. I'm
No.
glad that you are always trying to improvise. Don't worry about it. I'm a mountaineer. I sleep. I don't even know sometimes where I'm gonna sleep. So don't worry.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And luckily, with that story, I heard a lot I think pretty much most of that story was clear about it being your job, your profession, and improving upon that. So that is an excellent viewpoint to have, especially in the world today when there's a lot of people who are dubious role models, shall we say. The fact that people look up to you, but then the fact that you handle that, it really is a beautiful thing. So one of the other things to touch on with this as well is the concept that to do what you do, you have to be very mentally strong as well as very physically strong. Now, I know in your life it's not just with mountains. I mean, so many things that you've done, from the army to the biking to all of these different things, even moving to Switzerland, starting a new life and everything, and coping with the grief and everything that must have happened there. You've always had to be a strong person. So, do you think that is something you were born with? Do you think that's something you've cultivated over time? Maybe a combination of both, because you have a will of steel, I must say. And I'm curious to see your thoughts on where that comes from, please.
I think this is a very deep and nice question, because we're talking about the human side of an athlete. And I really believe to have a strong mind helps you besides sports. Of course, sport you can push, sport you can win, but sometimes athletes, they don't win. They cannot deal it. That means they try they depress, they try harder, they choose the wrong side, which is doping or whatever. Sometimes it's difficult to handle when you are used to win and then suddenly you can't do it. So I absolutely agree that you need the right mindset. And there are good days. Sometimes you are increasing very hard and very fast. It's just boom from one day to the other, and you are a famous athlete. And then it goes the same way down. Pandemic arrived. I lost all my sponsors. I wasn't able to pay any projects. I was asking myself also, should I continue? I'm already 40. I need more time for my kids. Should I look for a stable job, an office job? And then, of course, there are this mindset and says, okay, I still have to show that I can do it. I can still kind of look for my big limits. I want to do Everest in speed climbing. I just want this opportunity, this shot. So of course the mindset is important, but it also there is no athlete out there that has bad days. This is just if they say we don't have bad days, they are lying. We have good days and bad days as every human in life. But something that I'm aware is how thankful and how much I appreciate that I'm living from my hobbies, that I'm doing what I wanted since I was a little boy. So I have to be happy. I have to be thankful. I have to know that this is going to bring me to happiness. And even those days that you are not capable of training and working out because you are not feeling properly, uh, it's still your job. So I think the mindset is I want it from guiding. Sometimes you are tired, sometimes you are have fever, you have a virus, and you are arriving to this amazing refuge, and people are waiting for the guide to take them up to the summit, and you are not feeling good. And on the end, you just close your eyes and do your job. And then sometimes in the mountains, you're going to ask yourself, like, I should have chosen another job, an easier one. But you are here, and they were waiting for this big day for years. They have been prepared for this big day years. So smile and give them the best version of yourself. Even if you are struggling, if you are taking a pill because you have a headache, just make them a beautiful experience out there. So I always struggled since I was a little boy. My father always said to me when we were out there, Card, if you don't feel good, just stay in home. You don't come with me. And I always said like, no, no, Dad, I'm okay. Because I didn't want him to let me in without climbing with him and or alone at home, and he was in the mountain. So I always used to deal with my mindset. I remember I was going around the refuge where we were staying, and I had to vomit because of altitude sickness, and I was going there doing it secretly. And I came back when my father was sitting, and my father said, like, where were you? And I said, like, no, no, taking pictures, never saying that I was vomiting or that I was weak or that I was feeling the altitude, because I said, I'm okay. I'm completely fine. I can guide. And this is how I grew up. So even today, when I'm out there and my son asks me, hey, Carl, Papa, can you take me up to the mountains? And I said, yeah, but I would love to walk and not just every 5 minutes stop for food or for drinking something or asking how much is it gonna take. If we're going out there, I want to walk with you and having a 3, 4, 5 hour trekking tour. And he said, like, I don't know if I can make it. And I said, yes, you can make it. Just believe on yourself and you can make it. Of course, if you are too tired, we are gonna turn around. But this is also how you teach your kids how you were taught before. And I guess it has to do something like with your daily life, and also it has to do with training. I don't think people are born with that. I think it's depending how much you struggled. And I think people who have had certain chapters in life are more fighters. I guess when I was there seeing my mom dying in front of me, and she was saying to me, Carl, I don't know if you can make out a living of you doing as a mountain guide. Or I don't know if you can make a living out of if you're doing an athlete, but I know that this is your wish. So if you are out there, just be the very best one. And I remember those words always. Like as soon as I don't want to guide and I'm tired, and I ask my wife, like, I should have taken this job. Immediately she says, like, go out there and do like as good as you can. And the same is for the project. Sometimes you are there, you're waiting for the good window, and sometimes this good window doesn't arrive, and you start to get nervous and you start to get weak, and you start to ask yourself like, okay, this is a lot of pressure. And then, as soon as the clock is starting, you just have to be your very best version, because otherwise you can't beat the record, or you can't beat yourself. So sometimes after doing it, you need some time off. You need time to relax and to recover, because your mind plays a huge role in sports and competition. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a powerful answer. I love talking about this because it's something people don't see, from
Mhm.
just from seeing the summit, just from seeing an amazing achievement. They don't see what's going through your mind and everything like this. And it's very profound to hear about it from the point of view of your family, from the point of view of, as you say, even your mother before she passed away. It's the things that people don't see just from looking at the numbers of, oh, he did this in this time, or he did that in that time. So it's absolutely amazing. And when it comes to the mountain guiding side of things as well, I think it's obviously very worthy to touch on the impact it has on those people who climb with you. Now, with this, obviously, I've had a look at what you're doing. When somebody reaches their own potential, is the way that I term this, because it's different for different people, so I'm just thinking whether they climb once, whether they climb many times, whatever they're doing, for that person from wherever they started is a special thing. But in your own words, when you see somebody achieve that dream, you've guided them, you've helped them, and you share such a special moment together. What are your thoughts on basically seeing people maximize their personal potential in their own unique way? I think it's a very high aspiration, to contribute to people's lives in that way. And I think hearing about what that means to you would be wonderful, please, as well. Thank you.
Course, no, you're very welcome. It's a very deep feeling, because this is the reason why I never quit guiding. It's so inspiring to have someone on your rope or in your lead that is having a lot of issues and asking themselves, are the shoes are going to hold? I'm capable of walking so many hours. How is my body going to feel up there? And when we are in a technical zone, how I'm going to do with the ropes and with the harness and everything, and how dangerous is it, and how many people have died in this mountain. So of course they have many things on their minds, and the guide is not just there to show them the path. The guide is to give them confidence. The guide is there to make their life easier. And of course, the cherry on top is to reach the summit. Or even myself, I always say the cherry on top is always to bring you back home safely. But the bonus or the beautiful moment is always the summit, to achieve their dream, and believing that you are capable of doing it. And of course, you are part of it. So I've cried so many times on the summits, even being 500 times before there. And you have beautiful stories all the time. Like I've been very lucky to lead an amazing expedition every year with amputees, and they've had really tough times in their lives, and then they have this second shot with a prosthetic, and their life changed immediately. Their body is different, uh, everything is different, and then they 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 climb and they do it amazingly. So there, as a guide, you're just humbled to be there and just show them how to do it better. But on the end, they teach you more than you teach them. And has been an amazing actually I think this is one of the most beautiful professions out there, because you are always helping someone, and of course you make them believe they are better out there. When you sometimes they do something and they say like, I really did not imagine that I'm capable of doing that, and then they are dreaming about a bigger mountain, and then in a bigger mountain. And this is the reason why I never quit guiding, because they put my feet down to earth. Sometimes I arrive to a certain refuge. I know my clients are waiting, and I take my shoes. I run up to the summit and back just for training, and then they are blown away. Like, you were out there, and we're gonna be walking all night through to do the same. Then I said, yeah, but this is my job. I'm just out there to train and then I'm coming back and this is my time with you. I will not be running away. I will be with you. I will be helping you to achieve this amazing dream. And as soon as we arrive there and we hug, the feeling that I have with them on the summit is much deeper than the one I had the last day running up there. Because the one I had last day, it's just time. It's just tick, I did it and come back. It's just a kind of a session of training session. So guiding is makes you humble. Guiding makes you simple and thankful and everything. And I think if I would just live my athlete life, I would see mountains as checkpoints. Like, tack, I did it, tack, I did it, tack, I did it. As a mountain guide, you see them as huge goals because people train hard for it. And this is the reason why I think I'm very blessed to do it. And I've been also very blessed to guide blind people, amputees, children without a home, many different characters, and also businessmen, very exciting and very actually amazing people from all over the world. And the feeling on the summit, it's the same for all. It's just this humbleness and this smile and this just a dream that has come true. And it's this is why I love the job. Of course, you need a balance. I cannot be out there 7 days a week. Otherwise, I come back home. I'm always tired. I don't have good quality time with my family, and also I will be too tired to train and to have a proper nutrition and everything. So I think that the successful life as an athlete has to have this combination of everything to be a circle, to be out there some days, to train out there some days, to have this quality time with your family, and to have something else besides sport. People say, no, it's not necessary. I don't have time for something else. But this is so important, because if you are tired or if you are injured or if you are sick or if something is the end of your career, you are not in a dark room and things are gone. You have to have another life, and you have to also be happy of this other life. People are always anxious, like, how is it going to be my life without competing? I've done this all my life. I'm happy and I'm looking forward to have this chapter of not training every day and do other things too. So I think this is just your mindset, how you grow up.
Absolutely. Wow, it's a powerful description because within that, there's many different things that are contained within what you said there, many life lessons. And remember, that's why I do these. So I'm very happy with you sharing that. Thank you so much. Now, as we move into the last couple of things and the last topics with this today, obviously talking about your future plans and talking about the things that are yet to come, because you have had many chapters, obviously, and we've talked about this with the biking, with the army, with your world records and the mountains. But obviously, there are things yet to come, and you're a very busy person because you have the family and training and the motivation, the motivational talks and the travel agency and so on and so forth. So it's amazing with the time management and everything as well. When you map some of that forward, the same thing as what we've talked about earlier. It's a big question, but if you had to pick maybe a handful of things that you're aiming for, and again, it's worthy to show people because it's life is a journey of continual improvement. There's not really a destination. Even if you finish with that, something else, something new comes along, and you start again. So it's very much for people to realize, okay, you've climbed the biggest mountains in the world, many world records, 14 records, I think you said, many things like that. So when you map that forward with any life area that you would like to share with us, that would be great to get a feel for what's lighting the fire inside of you now for the next steps, please.
Of course, we always have to have many doors, many options in life, not just one door. Because as soon as this door closes, you are in a dark room. You need different ways out. And I grew up having always many doors. I'm living as a motivational speaker, as a mountain guide, as a travel agent, as an athlete. And you try sometimes in certain things, door closes, pandemic closed many sponsorships, pandemic shot a lot of clients coming to Ecuador because they didn't have the money to come after pandemic, and many doors they were closed, but you try to open new ones. And this is life. This is every single human has different doors, and this is important that you don't put all the eggs on the same plate. It's just important that you distribute everything. So I can't wait for this new chapter. I think looking into myself in the next 5 or 10 years, I still have a lot of projects, speed climbing projects in front of me the next couple of 2 years, 3 years. But then in one point, it's going to be over with speed climbing. It's definitely too risky, and it's important that you know when it's over. And sometimes if you are too old and you really think, I don't know, I still have to do this, and I still do have to do this, sometimes you do mistakes because you are not focused in anymore. So this is why it always the athletes always say that you have to quit when you are the greatest and when you are in the best moment, in your best shape. So as I had this 2, 3, 4 years that I was struggling because of budgets and everything, I know that I still have this shot. I want to still do this 2, 3, 4 mountains that are still open. And then of course, not just myself, my entire family is happy for this quality time with dad, doing other vacations, other travels, other things. And I look to myself in 5, 10 years as a motivational speaker, telling my story, releasing probably one book and releasing a movie. And all these things, they are always said like, I don't have time right now. I don't have time. I would do it then in the next in the next chapter of my life. So I think we live in every human lives in certain chapters. So I think my athlete life is right now really focused on those 3, 4 records that I want to still do. And then of course everything else, like selling myself and doing other things that I always wished to do, but I didn't have the time to do it, I will be coming. So I always have to be like very thankful of the moment and very focused on the moment and very motivated on on the moment, but always looking to the next door and being also happy with what's coming next door and not looking back, just looking in front. I think it's very important, because if you are looking into this door and this door is just all for you, so you are not enjoying the moment. So it's important that you are enjoying the moment, focus, but also looking into what's coming next, so you can focus on both. I don't know if I've made myself understand a bit, but this is how I look into things right now.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's very deep. It's very profound, but it makes a lot of sense. And the gratitude and the focus and so many things that you've shared in there. In each one, there's so many topics, and I'm resisting the temptation to go off in different directions. But I'm glad that you're going to write a book or and these things as well, because I was going to ask you that actually, is there going to be a book? Because the story that you have shared, I mean, today we will only scratch the surface, as they say, in terms of there's so much more, but it's enough for people to take a few tips. But if you were to put more in depth in a book or something, it'd be absolutely amazing. I have to ask a fun question. They make a movie about your life, yeah? Say they do this. Who would you like to play you in the lead role of that? Just as a fun.
This is a nice question. I've never thought about it, but probably myself. I'm willing to learn how to act. I don't know. Probably next chapter. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah, that's good. A new challenge for you, acting. Yeah, I mean, many athletes they do move into these type of things, but no, it will be amazing, as I've said, on the deeper level of sharing the knowledge and the wisdom that you have, to inspire people that anything is possible, and it sounds like a cliche of, oh, anything is possible, but you really do show that, because there's so many things in your life, from where you started to where you are now, to the things that have happened along the way. It's powerful, and many lessons have stayed with me personally from what you shared today. One of the big ones, leaving the biking and going into the speed climbing. I mean, chasing what is authentically yours, on the in your soul, if you like, what really is special to you. I think that's one of the biggest ones, but there's many other things you have shared. So, is there anything else that you would like to say to your fans, your followers, even people hearing this story for the very first time? Because there will be some of those as well, I think, in terms of inspiration, in terms of motivation, any other words that you would like to share with people listening, any country, because I know it will be many countries.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, I think that the most important thing I want to share is that people start doing sport as a lifestyle and not because the doctor is asking them to do it to have a healthier life. So just go out there and enjoy. We have a beautiful world out there. We have beautiful mountains, nature, and everything. Just take care of it. And the other thing that I want to say is that for all those followers and fans, that's important always to know the human side of every athlete. Sometimes we look at the person because of their achievement, and you don't. It's very important to know that they are humans too. They have good days, they have bad days. They are always trying to be their best version always, and don't be too hard to them. And I think on the end, it's just very important to know that um, we as an athlete or as a sportsman, I always will try to give my best. This is the most important thing. And as soon as I quit, I definitely will quit. So this is just the message I say to my son. You know, my son is always asking me like, Dad, I want to become a professional football player. And I said, yeah, probably you will, but you have to know that if you want to become one, you have to train hard every day. There is no just jumping into professional. You have to fight hard, and this long journey you have to enjoy. It's not just hard work, it's also enjoying and having this as a lifestyle, and everything is coming to the right way if you start early and put all this attitude there.
Absolutely. Well, enjoying the process, I mean,
Exactly.
it's a very important lesson people overlook. People get caught up in the results only, and they don't realize, as a metaphor for life, you climb the
Mhm.
mountains, you do these amazing things, but the summit, the actual top, is only a tiny percentage. I mean, I speak to people, I've spoken to a few other people where they reached the top of Everest or something, and it's like half an hour or something there, then you're coming back down. And if you're only focused on that, it's too small and you miss so many other things, and for life, I think is a very important lesson to enjoy each step, because that is, I don't know, 95% of the time is step by step. So it's very valuable. If anybody is hearing this for the first time, but they are interested to work with you on expeditions and things, I don't know how much experience they have to have or certain things like this, but perhaps you can just give yourself a mention with your businesses, because even if it reaches a few extra people, maybe that will help, and how they can contact you, what they need to do, that type of thing, please.
Thank you, Liam. Thanks for the opportunity. Well, we are based in Ecuador, but we organize tours worldwide. And these tours are absolutely for everyone. That means for people who have never done it before, as well as professional mountain climbers. We have for everyone something. Ecuador is an amazing country to start with mountaineering, to start with glacier experience, to be someone who doesn't know about gear and everything. So we are here to help you, and also my social media, we can help you definitely. We are in Ecuador, but we organize everywhere. We're going to Aconcagua, to Peru, to Himalayas, to Nepal, to Kilimanjaro, to Europe, to everywhere. Normally myself and my team. So you can find us in websites, in social media under Cumbre Tours, and also myself as Karl Egloff in any social media platform. And I'm gladly here to help you, and you're always very welcome. And I will be definitely responding each one of you.
Well, that's a wonderful thing as well, to take the time to give your advice and to give your experiences to people in that way. As we've said today, it's not just about sports, but it's about life as being the best human being that you can be. I would like to thank you for your time today, Carl. I mean, we've covered some wonderful topics. I went into this with the hope of having some fun stories from your clients, which we've got that, and having then the wisdom and the knowledge that you shared, and we have that. So I'm very happy. It's been a little bit scrappy with the signal, but it's a very good, very good topics. And as long as it helps people, which I really believe it will, then we have done our job. Even if it reaches a few people, although I will push it to try and reach as many as I can. But really an honor for me personally. I mean, I speak with many people all around the world, and as you said earlier, nobody is better just because they've done something big, or better than anyone else. But you do speak with certain people, I do, and it means a lot personally because of what you represent as a human being, not just as an athlete. So thank you very much. I'm just going to take a quick photo of us here in a minute, just so I can post it and say that the interview is coming soon. And one more. There we go. Just because that helps to build the excitement. But thank you so much for your time, and my best wishes to you and your family. I look forward to following your future progress, because I know there's a lot more. I will read your book when it comes out as well. And yes, good luck with everything in the future. Send this to you as well when it's ready, and we'll just go from there. But thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you for everything, for all your kind words, and it was beautiful talking to you. And yeah, we keep in touch. And if there is something else that we have to do it again because you didn't get the answer, just let me know spontaneously if you need pictures or whatever. I'm just thankful that you're showing your audience what we have been talking about. So thank you so much. And yeah, you're very welcome anytime to come to Ecuador.
Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.